Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Mahdi Tijani here, aka the Red Mahdi, aka the Masculine Reviver. Reviver. I haven't thought of a proper intro yet, but this is the first video of many where I will be reacting to some of the madness that you guys send me when it comes to this whole relationship-ish. So,
after talking to the lawyer, I just have a lot of emotions about Don asking me for a prenup.
strike one.
Right? Confused and scared, really, of like, what is Don really thinking?
Prenuptial agreements are there to protect the person with the money. Yours is yours, and what's mine is mine.
Did you see that? That sort of, oh, what do you mean yours is mine, yours is yours, and mine is mine? Mine is mine, and yours is mine as well, right?
I went ahead and spoke to a lawyer. One of the things he talked about was that the prenup is a pretty one-sided thing.
Okay, so I guess we draw one up and then we figure it out. Have my attorney send it to yours.
But my question is, why do we really need one?
I've had a pretty rough.
All right, before this plays out, okay, I have two. I'm in two minds about this. Why do we need one? On the one hand, I do feel like girls have been sold the Disney dream world of the happily ever after. I think they've been sold that dream. But on the other hand, you cannot help but wonder, especially as a wealthy man, if your woman is showing reluctance because she wants some guarantees from you if she decides to pull the plug on the marriage. And I say if she decides to pull the plug on the marriage because 70 to 90% of all divorces are initiated by the woman.
Company even before I met you. So if we get married and then you decide to divorce me next year, then you leave with half of it, that's not fair.
But why are you already thinking about that?
Babe, it's something that I have to think about. I don't know why Danny's so surprised. The prenup's obviously something that we need to have in place.
All right, I want to say right off the rip, this individual here is not showing a strong masculine frame. I don't know what this guy's name is. Instantly, if you show a woman that you feel bad, babe, but you know, you have to understand, whatever it was that he said, he didn't show assertiveness. No, this is the way it's going to be. And if you don't like it, you're free to explore your options. The moment you show the slightest bit of weakness, women are so socially adept, so much better than men. He's shown weakness here that she will exploit to its full. She knows now there's a chink in the armor, there's an opening whereby she can get him because he feels bad.
I built a business long before she even came into the picture, you know, and I have to protect that. Like, you want to get married? I'm like trying to work with you.
I don't want to be emotional. I'm just not sure if you're doing this because you don't trust me or like you're not sure about our future.
Well, I think you're overthinking it.
I don't know how to explain this to you. I feel like you're not understanding what I'm saying.
I am understanding.
Okay, again, I don't want to jump to conclusions here and saying she's putting on the crocodile tears, okay, but I will say this. This is a passive-aggressive move on her behalf. A passive-aggressive maneuver. I'll explain to you how. She knows she's dealing with a high-value man. He has all the leverage. She has no power, no control in that regard. Women don't like feeling like they don't have leverage in a relationship. But that's always going to be the case when you're dealing with a high-value man. If you're dealing with a 50-50 man where you're paying half the bills and she's paying half the bills, it's a different story. But in a 50-50, with dealing with a high-value man, this is how it's always going to be. Now, the passive-aggressive move on her behalf is, if I can make him feel bad for the logic that he's speaking, I will be able to regain some power and control in the final say of this. And let's see how this plays out.
My intention is to leave you. I hope that's not your intentions.
It's not.
Nice.
Like, I didn't even think about that. You're the one thinking about that.
I didn't even think about that. Okay, sure, baby girl.
It's just the reality of what makes sense. Like,
yeah.
This is a classic case, by the way, of logic versus emotion.
It's like, this is like really This is not how I pictured like it was gonna start.
Disney
There's
told
no
me
reason to
to.
cry.
I need like 1 second.
Babe, you don't have to cry. Babe, really?
I just never thought that I'd get to a point where Dawn would make me feel like I'm just another contract that needs to get signed.
Once again with the shaming tactics. To pay close attention to the language. Dom would make me feel like I'm just another contract. Yes, marriage is a contract. It's exactly what it is. This whole business of unconditional love, nobody loves anyone unconditionally except a mother to her child or a father to his child. That is it. Between spouses, one day you love each other, and if you get divorced another day, you don't love each other anymore. It is what it is. Disney have sold this fanciful idea of the fairy tale ending, the fairy tale happy ending, and maybe she's feeling a bit upset because of that, because she's thinking, what you saying, you don't trust me? But you can easily flip that back for him, and he could say, well, why are you reacting so bad? Should I not trust you?
Get on my face. I don't want to feel like a business. I don't want to feel like a transaction.
All right, look, straight away. Look at his masculine frame is so weak. His posture. He's like, get out, but she's like, get out of my way. It's like, damn. Immediately, this is a straight, clear-cut indication that this man he is not in his strong masculine frame. He doesn't feel like he can call the shots all the way, even though he can. And this is what the femi narrative will have us believe. And guys have been brainwashed through movies and Disney and all the rest of it that this is how we should deal with our women. No, this is not how you should deal. These are the boundaries. These are the rules. If you don't like it, you're free to explore other options, habibti, and I will bid you a good night. But when you don't have that mindset, or you feel like she's the one and nobody's the one, let's just get that straight, then you're not going to have that abundance type of attitude when it comes to dealing with women.
Marriage shouldn't feel that way, you know?
Back to the feelings.
You're being ridiculous. I've worked really hard for a lot of years to build my company, build my assets. Even before me and Danny started dating, my net worth was already, multi-millions. And as me and Danny have been dating, I'm worth a lot more now, like millions more. And I have to protect it just in case, hey, worst case scenario, something doesn't work and me and Danny have to part ways. It definitely sucks to see her cry and be hurt about it, but I just can't hand, half of it away, regardless of how much I love her. It's just business. I'm trying to work with you, but all I ask is for you to work with me.
The way that I'm feeling right now, it's like I'm not valuable just because, like, I don't have money.
That's not what it is.
Well, that's the way it makes me feel.
Babe, it comes from the simple fact that I've had an established business and assets before I met you.
But, technically it's a business that I poured into too.
I mean, yeah, you've helped, but
all right, this is a classic case of logic versus emotion. But look, technically it's a business that I helped build as well. He just made it abundantly clear. Before we met, I already had multiple millions. After we met, the multiple millions compounded. And to my understanding, she's an employee in this business. Listen, yes, employees are important, but there's only one Jeff Bezos. The assembly line workers that work in Amazon, they're important, but they're replaceable. All of them. It's a low skill job. No disrespect to Amazon workers whatsoever. I'm just stating a fact here. You've got one Jeff Bezos and 800,000 assembly line workers. Who's more important?
I don't want to see Danny hurt, and I definitely appreciate everything she's done for my business. But these emotions are kind of throwing me off a little bit because I feel like I'm trying to get cornered into her trying to make me not sign a prenup.
And I will also say as well, you have to be really careful here when you're dealing with a woman in an intimate fashion. Some women feel they want to make you, and not just women, but men can do this as well. It's actually another form of passive aggression. You can read about it in Robert Greene's book, The Laws of Human Nature. It's called the dependent strategy. They want to make you dependent upon them, and then so to the point where you feel like you can no longer do without them. And then once they feel like they've got that leverage over you, then they go cold and they freeze you out and they make you feel like nothing you can do is good enough. So if you sense that you're dealing with a woman like this, be careful how much involvement and responsibility you give her in your business, because she will always use it against you.
It makes me a little nervous that you're making a big deal about it. It just seems like you feel some type of way because you aren't entitled to it if we were ever to break up.
Really? Nobody who's entitled works for $500 a week. You're kind of being like about the whole thing.
Well, if you didn't care about money or my assets, you wouldn't be crying.
My guy, I am so glad he said that.
I can't believe Don's disrespecting my character. He feels like I'm a gold digger. Get out of my face. Like, literally leave.
Not me.
Like, seriously, leave the room.
Don't leave.
Just go.
Don't leave.
If this...
Okay. I mean, there's so much to talk about here. This is his home. She's in his home. He gave his word, I'm not leaving, and he still left. Now, I don't know if he feels under pressure because the cameras are on him. I have a feeling he'd still react this way even if the cameras are off. And you know what? I can't fault men worldwide for behaving like this, because this is how most men behave. This is how we've been taught to behave. And let me tell you something. A woman will tolerate about as much as you expect her to. And she will try and get away with about as much as you allow her to. Burn that into your brain. Signed, Mahdi Tijani. A woman will get away with about as much, a woman will tolerate about as much as you expect her to. And she will get away with about as much as you allow her to. He has not set clear boundaries in this relationship, and therefore she feels she can speak this way because she can. She's right. And look at the end result. He left the room. This is his home. This might sound like trivia to you. This is super important. She is in his frame. She is operating under his roof, and he is the prize. He is the high value man with all the millions. It's like you turning to your assembly line worker working in Amazon, and you're going to Jeff Bezos after you get upset with him. You go to his office and you're like, in his office, hey Jeff, get out of the office. That's the equivalent. And then Jeff walking with his tail between his legs. You'd never see that happen in business, and yet it happens in relationships. Why?
This is where Don is at, and this is how he's gonna act. I don't think that I can be in a relationship with him, and it really might have been too good to be true.
Okay, this is what I'll say. This woman knows she has some type of emotional leverage over her man, because for whatever reason he feels like he can't set those type of firm, immovable boundaries and rules in terms of how she speaks with him, in terms of many things for that matter, because maybe he feels like she's the one, or maybe he feels like she's irreplaceable, whatever the case may be. So if this gentleman is watching this video, let me make it abundantly clear to you, brother. You are the prize. You will be able to find many more like her, probably better than her, especially where you're living. She is unlikely to be able to find someone higher value than yourself. It's not impossible, because it seems to me that you live in an affluent area and men tend to be lazy, so goes for whatever's closest in front of him. So if she knows some of your affluent friends, they'll be surprised if you break up and she ends up with one of them. But don't allow that to dictate your decision making. Don't allow your emotions, your loss aversion. You don't want to lose something. Humans are naturally loss averse. Give a man £100 and he's happy. Steal £100 from a man, take £100 away from a man, give him £100 fine, and he's all over the shop. We are loss averse. We fear losing. But the problem is, when you take that relationship, when you take that attitude into a relationship with a woman, and she feels like you're treating her as though she's irreplaceable, that's when she starts to run riot all over you. She needs to always know that if she crosses boundaries, if she breaks whatever code you have, whatever rules you have set in place, if she transgresses those lines, she's out the door. She's free to explore other options and you will move on. And this will keep her in check. Alright guys, if you like that video, please, at this moment, right now, if you're watching this on your phone, minimize, make the screen smaller, hit that like and hit the subscribe. Helps with the algorithm. The Muslim community needs to be much more aware of these same relationship dynamics. This whole red pill movement is pretty big amongst the non-Muslims. Amongst the Muslims, less so. So please hit that like button, hit the subscribe, and share it with one of your friends. Share it with one of your friends who's recently been through heartbreak or someone who's been through a divorce. Share this reaction video with him and there's going to be a lot more content coming soon. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.